Session. Just recording. योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्य किल शक्तितरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ वासुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं हरिः ओम् सर्वेभ्यः पुनरेकवारं सुस्वागतम् केचन सप्ताहचतुष्टयं पर्यन्तं वयं न मिलितवन्तः सत्यं वा 4 weeks we did not meet. I was busy traveling, then I was busy with retreats. It went on. So we are back. So we were seeing a text Bhaja Govindam. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Moodhamate. Samprapte Sannihite Kale Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dokrui Karane. That is a straightforward hit of the bat. It's a Prakarana Grantha. Very clear Prakarana Grantha. It is not, we said it is not just like any other Ashtottara. Sorry, it is not like any other, Stotra, Stotra Patana, where, Shivananda Lahari or for that matter, Kalyanastha Stotra or Shivastuti or Shiva Prada Kshama Stotra. Acharya has composed about 115 odd stotras itself. And those stotras are all stuti of a particular Ishtadevata in a lot of ways. Bhaja Govindam Binnaha Asti. It is not very similar. It is not similar to that. The reason being, Vedanta is coming out in very detailed flow. So if you look at Bhaja Govindam, and it is experts concur that the first 12 shlokas of Bhaja Govindam, or what is also called Moha Mudgara, was actually composed by Acharya. The remaining 20 odd shlokas are composed by his students, which is quite possible. I'm not getting into the details of who did what and how it was composed, etc., etc. But if you look at it, Iha samsare bahudustare kripaya pare pahi murare. We have seen a lot of shlokas of that nature. Muda jahihi, parjana sakta, and all that we have seen. So, Acharya Shankara is bringing a lot of compassion into this whole thing and saying, do something. Do something about what? First of all, we said, he sees somebody who was actually reading Vyakarna at the age of 95 and then by hearting and said, you don't need to do this. There's a different path. There's something beyond this that you need to do. So, what we did was throughout these first about 15, 16 shlokas, 12 plus another 4 shlokas that we have seen, we brought about what Acharya constituted as the concept of Aparavidya. Aparavidya. That is basically, it said there is a way to lead a life, right? Now, how do you lead a life? That was the question that we asked in the past 13 sessions and said there's a way to do it. There are both right ways and wrong ways in this. That duality will continue to exist because of the way the world is structured. And there is what is called a Desha Dharma, there is what is called a Kala Dharma. Right? So we brought about the concept of space and time into it and said, how do we behave in this framework? And said, there is a concept of Shat Arivarga, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsara, which are also a natural state of things. That's a Prakriti Vishesha. That is basically, we'll talk about Prakriti and Purusha a little bit today, but that's a Prakriti Vishesha. Then we said, these probably need to be replaced with something else. And we said the 6 things that need to be replaced with it. Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana. We stopped with Samadhana in our last discussion. Correct? And when we said Samadhana, before I transitioned over to something else, we said, why is it important to recognize that we need to cross this ocean of so-called birth and death? And why should we not get stuck? For that, Chitra Mahodaya actually asked a very important question last time when we were discussing. How is this whole discussion on time relevant to this whole talk that you gave? So it's very true. I mean, why discuss time? Time is a concept. Time is a different concept, and getting beyond time is what is important. So I brought in a concept where I said, if you understand the concept of time and how deep that is, you'll understand that how much are we bonded and glued to this whole concept, whole thing of birth and death. We are glued. We are technically glued to something like that strong glue. Feviquick ka jo tute nahi sort of this one. And then to get out of it is what we need to make that effort. So the effort needs to be there. Otherwise, you can keep on living. You can live the best of the lives. You can be the best of the things, etc. that we said. So now the journey starts towards moving from a good, well-being life into a journey towards how do we transition out of this life. When I say life, consider this as a concept of life, death, circle, the cycle of birth and death. Okay. Why do we need, what is it that happens when you transition, and how do we start transitioning? This is the whole charm of this whole idea that Acharya is bringing in. Okay. So what we will do, I will introduce 3 shlokas today, which are sort of transitioning out. People, Acharya just said, you do these things. But a few more shlokas will enhance the understanding of this. Okay. So let us, give me a minute. So let's start with this 10th shloka. It said, Vayasi gate kah kama vikarah, shushke neere kah kasarah, shine vitte kaf parivarah, gyate tatve kah samsarah. This is a good point to start. He said, please note there are 2 key words in this. Gyate tatve. Please just hold on to this word because we'll come back and start discussing more on this tattva. Gyate tattva. So the examples that he is giving here is that when the pond is fully dry, you don't call it a pond anymore. You just call it a pond bed or pond existed. It is not called a pond anymore. Kshine vitte kaha parivaraha. Where is the concept of a family when everything is gone? There is nothing to live. There is no artha. So that's why in our ashrama dharma, grihastha is the highest form of ashrama. That is where generation of wealth happens. If there is no generation of wealth, there is no parivara. Right? So that means there is no samsara. And gyate tatve kaha samsara. Please hold on to that thought. Then we said, I'll skip all this. I'll go beyond all this. We said we moved this. Ma kuru dhana jana yavvana garvam harati nimeshat kalas sarvam maya mayamidam akhilam hitva brahma padantvam pravishani viditva. Okay, this is another brahma padam. So two or three keywords that I'll please make a note of these. One is gyate tatve tattva. Brahma padam tvam. Pravisha. Okay, this is the two other keywords that I want you to make a note of. Then, okay, Asha Vayu. This is all okay. This we said, how the kama vikaras keep coming up. Our taratamya. We are not able to overcome that sense of desire that we have. This is okay. Kate kanta dhanagata chinta Vatulakintava nasti niyanta Trijagati sajjana sangatireka Bhavati bhavarnava tarane nauka Bhava arnava tarane nauka. That is another thing that I want you to note. Okay. Then Udara nimittam bhaukuta vesha. That is all fun stuff. Then we saw this. Yeah, this is where we started our discussion, transitioning out from this the cycle of birth and death and how we need to approach a concept of life. And then we saw a few of these things. Angam galitam palitam mundam dashavihinam jatam tundam viddoyati grihitva dandam tadapi namunchati asha pindam. That is okay. That is another this one. Munchati asha pasha. That's also okay. Okay. Then we saw this time. Last time we saw this Nadika and the experiment of Nadika, how you come up with Nadika and 24 minutes. And then we said how this whole cycle happens. So I hope everyone is clear on the time concept of time now. Okay, I know I have not sent out this slides. Probably I'll send it out today. Let's see how it goes. And then we'll see this. We'll see 3 shlokas to begin with for this class. And then we'll start looking at what is this gyate tatve. Correct? Gyate tatve. Brahma padam pravishya. These are the 2 key things that I asked you to just make a note of. So we'll see what happens. Kurute Ganga Sagara Gamanam Vratapalanam Athavadanam Jnana Vihinaha Sarvamatena Muktin Bhajati Janmashatena. So if I do the Padacheta, it's very straightforward. Kurute Ganga Sagara Gamanam. You can keep on going around Ganga and Sagara and all the places. Vratapalanam. You can keep on doing a lot of Vratapalana. We have a lot of Vratas in our scriptures. We have a lot of Vratas. That is basically starting with Shankranti to Ananta Chaturdashi. The whole year is full of Vratas. Okay. Athava Dhanam. We keep giving a lot of Dana. Even in spite of doing all that, Jnana Vihinaha, one who is without Jnana, Sarvamatena muktim na bhajati janmashatena. Even after hundreds of births and death cycle, there is no mukti. If you just keeping what is said in the first line, but I have not taken any step towards this gnana arjanam. Now, what is gnana arjanam? That is the meaning. Okay. Let us say, kurute ganga sagara gamanam, vratapalanam athvadanam, jnana vihinaha sarva matena, all sorts of forms. He says sarva matena. Don't imagine, Nagabrahma is not there today. So, sarva matena, all forms of existence. You can be a Buddhist, you can be a Jain, you can be any form, you can come in any form, and this one. Without gnana, you do not get you. That is a very clear, thumping the desk and saying this is exactly what it is, nothing more. There is no way. It's an authoritative statement that is being made here. Okay. So, Dhanvaya Janaha Ganga Sagara Gamanam Vratapalanam Ya Dhanam Kurute. Jnana Vihinaha Chet Sarvamatena Janmashatena Muktim Na Bhajati. Don't get it. Okay. Punyanadyam Gangayam Snanam Kurvanti. Yes, your papas will go, punyas will come, probably all those things will happen. Athva vrata anutishtanti. Athva haste labdam sarvam api parasmai dasyante. Sharva Shastra Parangataha Bhavanti. They learn a lot, they come with lot of knowledge. Atma Jnana Vihinaha Santi Chet Tebhya Anekaihi Janma Vihi Api Muktim Na Labhante. This is a very straightforward statement that is coming. We'll see what. So, I said Gyate Tattve Brahma Padam Tvam Pravisha. Now, please note Gnana. Here, a term Jnana is being introduced. Please keep a note of that word Gnana. We'll discuss what that Gnana is in coming time. Okay. Next. Suramandira Tarumula Nivasa Shayyabhutalam Ajinam Vasa Sarva Parigraha Bhogatyagaha Kasya Sukhan Nakaroti Viragaha. Okay. So he says it is said here that Sura Mandira Taru Mula Nivasaha. Without too much of basically he is saying the point of austerity, if I were to say, giving up all forms of material riches. If you live Shayya Bhutalam Ajinam Vasa. Ajina is, Chaila Kusha Ajina. As a cloth. You have a skin of some dead animal. Put it up and just sleep on it. That's good enough for you. You don't need a huge memory planned bedding and memory bedding and all such things. Okay. So, Sarva Parigraha Bhoga Tyagaha. Give up a few things. Start giving up. Kasya Sukham na karoti viraga. With all this, try to find Sukha in this. He says, don't give up without becoming dukhi. Find Sukha in this and then give up. That is the point that is trying to make. Okay. Please note, this has got nothing to do with give up everything and go to a forest, start dwelling tomorrow. Provided you get Sukha in living like that, then give this up. Okay. Experiment and see. And it's a very straightforward thing. You like to eat so much of something, say one day I will not eat. Let us see if I can have some fun not eating it. Step one, step by step, get there. Okay, so that is the point Acharya is trying to make. Yaha Suramandira Taru Mula Nivasaha Yasya Shayya Bhutalam Vasaha Sarva Parigraha Bhogatyaga Viragaha. So basically, Vairagya will naturally come to them. You start living that way, you start living with, please note, this has got nothing to do with not being clean. The bodily cleanliness can be maintained without all basic, all necessary, all quote unquote living in a good place and a good facilities around. How you maintain your bodily cleanliness is not a function of where you are living. It's a function of how your thought process is. There are many animals which are very clean. Please note. I'll give a very simple example. There's a how many of you know what a marjara is?
Cat.
Cat. Yeah.
Has anybody seen a dirty cat?
No. They lick themselves.
Has anybody tried to give cat a bath?
No. They don't like it.
They don't like it. Not just they don't like it, you will be full of scratches as well.
Yeah.
The word cleanliness in Sanskrit comes out of marjara. Marjorie, the soap itself is called marjorie.
Mm-hmm.
So even in the animal kingdom, you can be clean, your bodily clean, mentally it's a different story. That's up to you. Without any so-called handheld shower with all forms of digital, this one coming up. All right. So that is the basic point that is trying to make. So cleanliness and leading a very austere life are two very different things. Okay. So a lot of people ask this question, if I run away, I'll be dirty, I'll get dirty, I'll not be able to live. No, that's not true. There are ways. If you want, you'll find a way to do it. Okay. So that is the point is trying to make. Vrikshamule va divale nivasaha bhumo eva shayanam ajina cha sarva phala bhoga tyaga. It means sarva phala bhoga tyaga. Start with giving up one small sweet dish or one, the chakli that we love to have for a change. See how much it will be fun. It will be fun in multiple ways. First, you'll realize how much the mind is attached to it, how much the mind loves to have it. Then slowly you'll realize probably the mind will itself start saying, thank you, I may not need it, and go on and on and on. So that is the viraga. It will slowly develop a vairagya around it. Okay, now I'm not very keen on doing this. It's all right. I live with it. See, that is when vairagya takes over and the mind dissolves. So that is the step that Acharya is asking us to take. Okay, one more. Yogarato va bhogarato va sangarato va sangavihinaha yasya brahmani ramate chittam nandati nandatyeva. Okay, yasya brahmani ramate chittam nandati nandatyeva. Yogarataha va bhogarataha. We saw earlier. There's a Shreyas Marga and Shreyas Marga, or what was it? We had the two this one. What is it? Shreyas and Shreyas. Right? Shreyas and Shreyas both exist. That is yoga. That is basically giving up and living in a very, very austere environment, quote unquote. So this is to clarify the previous shloka in some sense. You can be in Bhogaratha also. You can be enjoying all the riches of the world. Maybe living in a palace, no problems. Live in the biggest of the big palaces that you want. Okay. Okay. Sangaratava Sangavihina. Remember that last time? Satsangatve Nissangatvam Nissangatve Nirmohatve Nishchalatatvam Nishchalatatve Jivan Mukti. Right? Satsangahava with a set of sangha, with set of people, or without anyone. Or here sangha can also mean with your sense organs. Active sense organs. Okay. Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam. One who is established in that Brahman. Now, this is another term. This is another technical term. I said Gyate Tatve. Brahmani Pravisha. Then I said Jnana. Here, the fourth term. These are the four terms that we will discuss today. Brahmani ramate chittam. One who is established in that Brahman. What happens to them? Nandati, Nandati, Nandati eva. Nothing else. Is always in a state. He or she is always in a state of bliss. Okay. Yes. Dvividohi lakshanam. Right? That's what we saw. Shreyo Marga and Preyo Marga. Where was that? We saw that. No, let me bring that back again.
Long back.
Pravritti Lakshana, that is prayers, and Nivritti Lakshana, Shreyas Marga. So both of these, Vividohi Vedokta Lakshana, the same thing is said differently with saying Yogarataha va Bhogarataha. Okay. So irrespective of whether you're in Bhoga or Yoga, it doesn't matter. One who is established in that Brahman forever, one who is firmly established in that Brahman, Saha Ramate, Nandati, Nandati, Nandatyeva, Nandati, Nandati, Nandatieva. Okay. Naraha Yogarataha. So what is yoga? Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Chit iti yoga. That is Patanjali's Yoga Sutras say that. Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That is basically all the vritti or gantu of all the chitta are taken out. Va Laukika Bhogan Karishyati. These are the two margas, no? Dvividohi Vedokta Lakshana. What is that? Shreyas and Preyas. We saw that just now. Okay. Whether you're the Shreyas path or the Preyas path, it doesn't matter. One, Jivitasakti Rahitaha. Whether there is a asakti in living a very wholesome, rich life, or there is no asakti in living that life. Chitta, one who is firmly established in Brahmani, Saha Nityam Nandati. He is firmly established. Okay. So I just want to stop for a minute here and introduce a simple concept. So, okay. Now, we are all, Nagaprabha Mahodaya usually brought about that Semitic religion and Semitic ideas of why that whole thing and all. So, I'll give you a more fundamental difference between the Semitism and our philosophy, Semitic philosophy and our philosophy. See, Semitic philosophy clearly says that any organism is a product of quote-unquote sin, wrongdoing. Our philosophy fundamentally differs from this straight off. Point one, there itself you can take out. It says we are very sacred and divine beings. We are the product of that divinity. We are nothing but divinity. In fact, I will talk about that. But we are divinity in some sense, but we are at least, to begin with, at least a form of that divinity in some sense. And how does this divinity or how does this sacredness come out? It clearly comes out. Nana Chit, I think last year we discussed this word. Nana Chidra Gatodara Sthita Mahadeepa Prabhabhaswaram. So that divinity radiates itself, and we all see by nature, irrespective of who we are, where we are, which community, caste, creed, forget all that jati, guna, dharma, religion, human beings or animals, forget everything. All of us seek one thing, correct? And what is that? In some sense, all of us seek a sense of happiness. Is there anyone who says, I seek sadness? Srividya Maurya?
No, no, no one. No
Nobody
one wants it.
sadness. Everyone wants to be happy.
There is no reason to be unhappy.
So you may try to seek happiness through sadness. That's a different story. Or contentment through sadness. There are some sadistic people. I do know some sadistic people. Sadistic pleasures are there, but that is also a level of happiness that comes.
Yeah, they enjoy being sadistic.
Right. So the joy is a fundamental character of everything. How we are seeking it is a different story. I'm not getting into the right way of seeking, wrong way of seeking, or what is happening. But quintessential nature of every being is to seek that happiness. Do we all agree? Now, our philosophy says, the origin of this happiness is what is called Ananda. There is a concept called Ananda. Sat, Chit and Ananda. I'm not reading into too much of Vedanta here, it will be too high. So there are two things, there is Sat, Chit, Ananda, Nama, Rupa, Guna and all that will come later. But the quintessential nature of everyone is that Ananda. And we seek that happiness, we seek it externally, we run around it, we go about doing it. And how does it showcase itself? How does it actually expound itself? It expounds itself as that Nana Chidra Gatodara Sthita Mahadeepa Prabha Bhaswaram. So, okay, let me explain that. It's not very complicated thing. I just spoke a simple thing. Take a pot, a very simple pot. Let us say you have made some holes in that pot. Okay. That becomes a Nana Chidra Ghata. Udara is the stomach, the belly of that pot. In that Sthita place, a lamp. Can you imagine it? A ghata with the udara, and ghata, if you place the lamp in it with lot of holes, what will happen?
Light will come from outsides.
It will radiate. Light will radiate out of those holes.
You'll see so many lights. You'll see so many lights.
Yes. Now, this is a metaphor given for our Ananda. In all of us, that Ananda is the quintessential thing which is always there, which will keep expressing itself through various forms and ways that we keep doing it. That we don't allow it to take out. Now, suppose I do a very simple thing. I break that pot and let it go. What happens?
The light will be everywhere.
Light is there all around. Our whole journey is all about breaking that pot and getting to that that only that light. Okay, simple this one of getting to that light. That is the whole metaphor that is beautifully given out. How do we do this? What are there are so many things. Why is there a pot? Why is there a pot to begin with? Why can't there only be light?
I said samsara.
Yeah, why is there a samsara? So that's the question, right? If I say that but this is a fundamental thing which we all know. We all seek happiness. Correct? Nobody will disagree that we seek happiness. Everybody will fundamentally agree I seek happiness. Everybody will subscribe to that view. I seek happiness, tick. Anybody who says contrary to that is mostly lying. At least in the common parlance. Okay. Now, why did this? Why if everyone is seeking that, why was it that Ananda said, no, there should be something else? Correct. So for that, our scriptures also answer why it became this multiplicity and why that Ananda broke out and why this whole dukkha, samsara and all came in. So Taittiriya Upanishad gives a beautiful explanation around it of the creation of the origin of that. At some point in time, there was only Ananda. There was nothing else. There was only that lamp. Some form of that lamp. Metaphorically. There was nothing else. Then it got bored. as with anything. So it said, even too much of happiness at some point gets boring, no? So it said, so kamayata, it desired. Bahosyam prajaye yete. What if there are multiple things like this? Multitudes of these lamps like this, multitude of this Ananda, multitude of these stuff. Bhausyam prajaye yete sa tapo tapyata. It went into some form of tapas. So tapas taptva, having done that, idagam sarvam asrijata, idam sarvam asrijata. It created all lot of multiplicity. Tat srishtva. He just didn't create all this multiplicity. Tadaruk pravishata. It went inside also to each of these. As though it was not sufficient to just create and let things be as is, entered it. Once it entered, now it is like, the way it was. First of all, you did not want anything. It said, let us say you first said, okay, I want multiplicity. You want, let's say we are in that process. You bring a mirror and keep it in front of you. Right? Simple stuff. What happened? You create, hey, I now see 2. Then you are not satisfied. Broke the mirror. Closed the door. Started fixing that mirror into multiple mirrors on the wall all around you. Even on the door. Plastered the entire room with only mirrors. What happened after that?
Lots of same.
Confusion.
That's all. That's where we all are. Now, all of us are trying to seek that door. How do I get out? How do I get back? Everyone is stuck in that. Quintessentially, and in the process, what are we doing? We say, no, I see this, so I'm happy, I want to get there. That happiness is still there. It is there within you. But what are we saying? All these mirrors, oh, that is happy, that mirror is happy, this mirror is happy. That's why it is said that, it's just like a dream. There's one state of dreaming that you go through when you sleep, and the awakening state itself is another state of dreaming which you need to awake from, which you need to wake up from. So in Dakshinamurti Stotram, the first one it says, it says, what is that? Vishwan Darpada Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantar Gatam. The Vishwa is the whole, when it says Vishwa, consider the universe, is just like a mirror placed in front of you to see yourself. Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantar Gatam. There is no comparison to that. Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahurivo Udbhutam Yatha Nidraya. See, all of us have had dreams, right? I mean, a dream, we have seen tigers, lions, cattle, hen, peacocks, stadiums, mansions, palaces. Who created them? Who created them?
Imagination. Dream.
Who? I mean,
Ourselves.
can you say there was a carpenter, there was a mason, there was so many other people who came and built it for me?
Naturally, evolution.
Ourselves.
Ourselves.
Yeah.
We created it ourselves. So we created it ourselves. And not just that. Can anybody say it is false? It is not true. Is it truth or is it not truth?
It is true in the dream world.
See, it is reality, not reality is another state. Truth or not truth? Till you exist in it, it is true.
True in the dream world.
And you yourself lived there. You probably had another version of you running.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you know it is true? Because let's say you ran, you were happy, and so many things were happening, and you are drinking a beautiful milk, and you just tasted jamun. It was beautiful. You woke up, and suddenly you realize, oh, where did the jamun go? You tasted it. The taste was the
Joy of eating it.
tasting was there. Your stomach was filled, not filled is a different story. But it didn't happen. Can anybody say no? Or if you are slapped, what do you do the moment you wake up? You touch it. Yeah, what happened? In your dream, you were hurt. When you wake up, you may not be hurt. You may not have that perception in the mind. But then that neuro perception has not happened because the pain has not transmitted. It's not actually happened. But then it is true. Correct? Similarly, it is said that this is waking up to another conscious level. This life is exactly that. So you are sleeping, you are in this state, which is a dream state again, and you will just wake up someday, in some way. Okay. How do we do? That is the question. That is the whole journey of Vedanta. Okay. So now to get to that state, before we start our journey on thinking, yes, Parvati Madhya.
Does everybody want to wake up from this dream?
That's a choice.
Yeah. But why should you wake up?
Yeah, that's a choice. That's absolutely a choice. Do you want to wake up from your sleep?
If the dream is good enough, keep dreaming.
Is it always good enough?
Yeah.
Do you have the choice? Okay. This is a important question. Good question. So, is it always your choice to see good? Can you make the choice of seeing good dreams only?
No. No.
Does it answer?
It's mixed bag. Yeah. But you should take the good and the bad.
Yeah. So, if you're happy in the dream, nobody is stopping you from getting up. You can stay there. So, that's where it's a choice. It's always a choice. To say that's where for us it's not a one. It's not a one life religion.
At some point we feel it's enough. All is enough. At some point.
At some point you feel the dream is also enough.
Yeah.
Enough. Yeah.
And it's too much of an effort to come out of the dream.
So okay, what is the longest that anybody can sleep? Even a child. We are allowed to sleep. No, we get bored, we go to sleep. Simple. If we are tired, we go to sleep. Let us say infinitely you did not have anything to do. You don't have to care about family, you didn't have to care about work, you didn't have to care about anything. And people said you can just go to sleep. What is the longest that you can sleep?
12 hours.
12 hours. Anything more?
Longest,
14 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, 24
Longest
hours.
was the Kumbhakarna, 6 months.
Huh?
Not more than that. Longest was Kumbhakarna, 6 months.
16 years perhaps. Okay.
Was 16 years.
So anybody who wants to sleep 12 years or something, yeah. So you want to sleep for more than that, or try. I don't think more than 24 hours. Suddenly stomach will start hurting. Stomach will start. This one you'll want to wake up. Let's assume that you wake up and put something to your stomach, or you are being fed through some intravenous. Still want to go to sleep. Would you want to do that? No, right?
Not a healthy thing.
Huh?
Not healthy.
Yeah, people will think we are sick.
Let's assume that everything is being taken care of. Still, would you be?
Boring, no.
The natural state says that there is a time when you want to come up.
Then you're as good as dead then.
Dead, yeah. If you're sleeping the whole time. Yeah.
I mean, that's one state again. So as we will discuss, death is also a coma. As we have been seeing. So even Brahma as death, that's what we saw. As a form of quote unquote leave that Brahma state and come to some other state. So similarly, we have a state going from the human state to some other state. Correct? So all these are very transitional, if I were to use the word. Right? Fleeting, transitional. These are the words that come to our mind. Now, imagine a state where you are in that blissful, always Ananda, or you have taken out all that ghata, that pot that I said, that you're only in that state, that light state. What is this? What is that state? In fact, that state is a definition, and that state is an experiential state. It is not something that we can say. You know, we can keep on, as Professor Mahadevan always keeps saying, you know, it's all experiential. I can talk about sugar for 3 years, but what is sugar, you'll only realize when you put it on your tongue. Till that point, there's no point in you can keep on talking about it. Right? The best example is that of a bee. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa keeps giving this example. You know, it will keep on going, it'll keep on going, doing that noise, and there'll be a noise when it's going around. The moment it sits on the flower and starts sucking honey, there is no noise anymore. The noise has all fully vanished. That is the state of an Ananda. Right? Now that's qualified. How is it qualified? I'll just show you how it is qualified of that permanent Ananda state. Okay. That is the point of our discussion now. Okay. This also comes in Taittiriya Upanishad then we'll see how to get to that state. That is also, that we'll see next. Okay. This is from the Taittiriya Brahmananda Valli of the Taittiriya Upanishad. Bhishasmad vadah pavate Bhishodeti suryah Bhishasmad agdishchendrascha mrityurdhavati panchamaiti Saishanandasya mimagum sa bhavati. So this is one part of an Anukaka. So what it says is, you know, there is some controlling force. Because Bhisha is fear. He is fear. There is a controlling force. The fear of that controlling force, you can call it Paramatma, you can call it energy. That's all beyond that Chaturmukha Brahma and all we saw. Because of that, Vatah Pavate, the wind blows because of that fear. The sun rises because it fears that. Bhishasmat Agnihi cha Indraha cha. Agni, the fire is lit. The properties of the fire is there only because of that fear. Mrityurdhavati panchamaite. Even Yama works because of that. Saishanandasya mimagam sa bhavati. This is all in the realm of the apara vidya that we know. That is how it concludes. One part of the Taittiriya Upanishad, one part of that Sokamayata concludes with this statement. Okay. Then it says, then it comes to what if we transition out of these states? What happens? Let us see what it says. So it's a very simple thing. What it says is it creates one unit of happiness. We said it's the highest form of happiness, no, Ananda. It defines one unit of happiness and then keeps on adding and takes us to a level. What is that happiness? Qualifies that happiness. It's a very metric system. Our Vedanta is very, very straightforward, very methodical, logical, and very, very clear. Okay. This is a system which was our Vedic rishis and all have seen lots of years. So today we are talking about parameter creation and parameter, and then, you know, metric creation, metrics. Based on that metrics, we should have evaluation metric and all that. So here exactly it is saying, qualify the metric first, qualify the baseline, benchmark. So let us see the benchmark. Yuva syat sadhu yuva dhyayakah asishto dridishto balishtaha tasyeyam prithvi sarva vittasya purna syat sa eko manusha anandah. So one manushya ananda, one unit of human happiness may be defined as someone, imagine someone, yuvasyat, one who is a young youth, yuvasyat sadhu, who is well behaved, good yuva. Okay. Adhyayaka, well learned, not just sadhu, well learned, not just well learned. And this is all and. It is not or. So it's all conjunction is and. He is a he or she is a youth. Sadhu, well behaved, well nourished, well cultured. Adhyayaka, very well learned, and very well learned, and asishto dridishto balishtaha, one who is well built as well, who has all the strengths that can be possessed in the world, all the strengths of the world. And not just this is the physical characters, physical and character and attitude characteristics, right? That's not enough, not sufficient. Tasya iyam prithvi sarva vittasya purna syat. He has abundance in material wealth. Land, as much land as he wishes, he or she wishes. As much wealth he or she wishes. Basically, there is no other challenges. That much of things. Anything else that you want to add to this? That you think will make somebody happy? Do you think that will be amongst all the human beings, this person must be happy?
We need another human being to share the happiness.
Yeah, that is all. That is given. That's a given. Vitta brings all those things. Partners, sharing, everything is there with it. Iyam prithvi sarva vittasya purna syat. Fully contented with his life. Right? I agree. Partnership. So that vitta brings all that. You know, you can have servants, you can have a partner, a life partner, multiple life partners, whatever you want to call it. Do you define that as Eka Manushya Ananda? If this is your definition of one Manushya Ananda, then it says, it takes a logarithmic scale from here. It's all 10 to the power 2. So if you were to take logarithm to the base 10, you'll all get 2 everywhere, but I'll show you what it is. Teye shatam manusha ananda. 100 times this Ananda. This person is already happy, by the way. Okay, all right. 100 times that is qualified as, I'll tell you what. Sa eko manushya gandharvanam anandaha. One manushya gandharva. There is a concept of gandharva. We'll talk about what is manushya gandharva, ananda, indra and all that. We'll keep it as some higher celestial being, for instance. So, ekaha manushya gandharvanam ananda. 100 times of that human being's happiness is one unit of manushya gandharvanam ananda. And how does it happen? Shrotriyasya cha kamahatasya. That person, remember, he was adhyayakaha. He was well studied, well endowed in knowledge. Shrotriyasya. Shrotriya is not just hearing, here Vedas. Well versed in the Vedas and akamaha. That is without desires. Akama here, okay, when I say without desires, he is not giving in to the desire. He is able to be steadfast in the desire, withholding the desire. Okay. Shrotyasya cha kamahatasya. Okay. If that person is so, that is equivalent to one Manushya Gandharva Ananda. Then that Shrotriyasya cha kamahatasya Manushya Gandharva, 100 times of that Manushya Gandharva. Teye shatam Manushya Gandharvanam ananda. 100 times of that Manushya Gandharva. So how much is it compared to human, this one now? 100 times of this Manushya Gandharva Ananda. So 100, first was the 100 unit, this one is another 100. So how much does it become? 10 to the power?
10
Any
power
thoughts, any ideas?
10 to the power of 2.
4.
First was 10 to the power 2, no?
2. Yeah. 10 to the power
Now
of
it's
2.
4.
This is another 100.
Oh, this is enough. Okay.
10 to the power of 4.
10 to the power of 4. So 10 to the power 2 to the power 2.
Power of 2. Yeah.
Okay. ते ये शतं मनुष्यगन्धर्वाणामानन्दाः स एको गन्धर्वाणामानन्दः. That was Manushya Gandharva. This is eko Deva Gandharvaanamanandha. 10 to the power 4. Right? If this Deva Gandharva is Ananda, if that Deva Gandharva is Shrotriyasya Chakamah Tasya, this keeps repeating, by the way. The Shrotriyasya Chakamah Tasya is very important. If it is not Akama, then it falls back. It should be Akami. You can't have a wrong desire and then fall for something. There are so many stories. Indra falling for Ahalya and all those things. Such things you have to eliminate out. Only if it is Akama and Shrotriya. Te ye shatam Deva Gandharvanam Anandaha. This is 1 unit of Deva Gandharva. Now multiply that with another 100. So how much does it become now? 10 to the power?
6.
6.
Mahodaya, I didn't understood what is akamahata.
Akamaha is being in fully control of your desires. So you can in some sense say not exhibiting your desires at all. Shrotriya and also being well in the know of the Vedas. So Vedas, the way I put it is it is the creation and the operation manual of this universe. Being well versed and well attuned to the ways of the Vedas. That's what it means by Shrotriya and Akama. Okay. If you make this 10 to the power 6 of the human happiness, then it becomes Ye Shatam Deva Gandharvana Mananda. 10 to the power 6 of this. Sa Eka Pitrunam Chiraloka Lokanam Anandaha. That is a Pitraloka. That people who have departed, dead, gone. That is Pitraloka Ananda. Okay. Shrotriyasya Chakamah Tasya. If that person is again non-desirous and well in the know of the Vedas, and multiply that with another 100, te yeshatam pitranam chiraloka lokanam ananda. Now how much it become?
10 power 8.
10 power 8. स एक आजानजानां देवानाम् आनन्दः. Okay, there are so that's why devas are not equal to gods for us. Simple. Devas are at best, that's why God is different, and this is a very different concept. You have Varuna, you have Aditya, you have all the Adityas. That's basically Aditi's children are all the devas for us. So Varuna, Indra is the highest form. We'll get to Indra. Now in devas there are 3 categories, he said. One is Ajanajanam Devaha, then Karma Deva, then Devas. So there is a hierarchy there also. If you say there is Deva, then there is Karma Deva, then there is Ajanajana Deva. Okay. So that itself is another 10 to the power 6 there. So sa ek Ajanajanam Devanam Anandah. Shrotriyasya Chakama Dasya. Okay. Te yeshatam Ajanajanam. So take it as somebody like Varuna, Indra, Vayu. These are all the higher level of devas. They will have assistants to perform their tasks. And these assistants will have sub-assistants to perform their tasks. So these sub-assistants are these Ajanajanam Devaha. Then the assistants are Karma Devaha. Then the higher forms are Devaha. And their Adhipati is Indra. We all know that. Okay. So at ministerial level, you have minister, you have the cabinet minister, you have the prime minister, the cabinet minister, and minister of state. So something like that. or the or the chief secretary, or the secretary, joint secretary, principal secretary, so on and so forth. So this is the portfolio allocation. So it says sa eka ajanajanam devanam anandah. Again, Shrotriyasya cha kamah tasya te yeshatam ajanajanam devanam anandah anandah sa eka karma devanam anandah. So how many did it become? 10 to the power 10. So karma deva ye karmana devan apiyante. So they are working, the working devas around. Shrotriyasya cha kamah tasya te yeshatam karma devanam anandah sa eko devanam anandah. So 10 to the power 12. Shrotriyasya cha kamah tasya te yeshatam devanam anandah 10 to the power 14. स एक इंद्रस्यानन्दः श्रोत्यस्य च कामः तस्य another multiply by another 100 te yeshatamidrasyanandah 100 times of Indra's ananda 10 to the power 16 sa eko brahspateranandah shrotyasya cha kamah tasya te yeshatam brahspate sa eko brahspateranandah. That is one Brahspati. Brahspati is the guru of devas. So that is 10 to the power 18. Te yeshatam brahspateranandah. Brahaspati, and then there is, Prajapati. Brahaspati is above Indra, and then there is Prajapati. Both of them are the Guru Sthana. Prajapati is the son of Brahma, is the Guru of Brahaspati. Okay. So 10 to the power 20. Te yeshatam Prajapateranandah sa eko brahmana anandah. This is the unit of one Ananda compared to a human Ananda. We came to 10 to the power 22.
22, yeah.
Okay, so imagine 1 followed by 22 zeros. So anybody willing to go there? And where we are, you can imagine. That itself, the Manushya Ananda itself was something not easily attainable, by the way. If you remember, with Tasya, what was that? Adishto, Dridishto, Balishtaha. It says, Yuva Syat Sadhu Yuva Dhyayakaha. Asishto, Dridishto, Balishtaha. How many of us are in this state? No? It is not in this state. So, our scriptures say, it's all right. You have not been into all this, and you may not want to get through all this one. You can still get to the Brahmani state if you try to move there. That is what all are this one state. Then there are paths laid out for that. Okay. Te yeshatam prajapateranandah sa eko brahmana anandah shrotyasya cha kamah tasya sa yaschayam purushe yaschasavaditye sa ekah sa ya evam vit asman. We'll come to that. Okay. Sa ekah sa ya evam vit. Beyond that, there is no competition. If you get to that, there is no competition. Simple. There is no there was competition until this point. Getting up to this, there was so much of competition. You have to get to this, then you have to get to this, then you are getting to this, and somewhere somebody doesn't like you, you can be kicked back. All that, Padmapada. It is going through that snakes and ladder. Somebody likes you, will push you up. Somebody doesn't like you, will push you down. It's a full-fledged snakes and ladder game. But once you get here, sa ekaha, saya evam vit. There is no competition beyond this. So asmad lokat pretyam etamannamayamatmanam upasankramate etam pranamayamatmanam upasankramate etam manomayamatmanam upasankramate etam vijnanamayatmanam upasankramate etam anandamayamatmanam upasankramate tadapyesha shloko bhavati. So this is Shruti Vakya. So this is And this is something like a pramana for us. This says what it says is true. We will try to understand it, but not blindly. We cannot dismiss it. That is what Shruti Pramana is all about. Yes, Parvati Modaya.
How many human beings, if they have all that you said, the first thing, that joy, why you think they would imagine further joy and strive for it? If you say the first thing, the health, youth, money, everything, who is going to strive beyond that? Who knows that there's something more than that?
Are you striving for something more?
I don't think so. I don't know.
You are, I mean, you should be, no? You'll ideally be, in some sense. Maybe if this was better.
No, I'm just asking, how many people, how many do you think would?
That's up to them. No, that's not this one I can make. That's all individual. That's all dependent on the individual.
Because generally speaking, I don't think I've seen anybody around me who's trying to go to a higher.
Okay, let's do this. Let's not take so much of an experiment. Okay, forget it. Now, let us say you are eating what's your favorite sweet? Do you eat sweets?
Yep, chocolates.
Chocolates, okay. How many chocolates can you eat?
I'll be modest and say 5.
What will happen to the 6th chocolate?
Doesn't taste good anymore.
You'll get bored. Will it happen to your limit is 5. There can be somebody who is 50.
But I will make sure that I don't exceed that.
No. That's a choice here. That's a voluntary choice here. That's okay. Let's say somebody's limit is 50. Let us say some other person's limit is 500.
Yeah.
Similarly, but there is a limit, no?
Yeah.
Same thing will happen to that person also, no? At some point, it will get boring. For all said and done, it will get boring at some point. How much more?
That's just one aspect. There's so much.
Yeah, so much.
Yeah.
So you can keep on exploring. So nobody said it has to be only in one birth, no? You can span through multiple births. And we saw what is the kind of timeline that you can span. Just about 310 odd trillion years. Within that, you can keep on going on and on and on and on.
See, the thing with me is that is so unimaginable, so it doesn't matter. You cannot grasp that concept.
Yeah. So you can keep on spanning all that till you get bored. It's all right. You can keep moving. Nobody said no. So I think so. The way it is explained in our scriptures also. How many of you have read the Mahabharata? At the very beginning, there's a story. There's a story of Yayati. How many of you have heard of Yayati?
Heard of, but I forgot about that.
Okay.
Heard of.
So Yayati was someone who wanted this exact same thing what Parvati Modaya is saying. I want to enjoy myself and keep on enjoying with this in this body.
Limited, yeah.
Unlimited enjoyment. 5. How about if I increase my capacity to 10? What if I increase my chocolate capacity to 10? What if I increase my chocolate capacity? It need not, by the way, it is not just about your bodily increase. It can be your mental increase as well. Mentally, I'll increase my capacity to have 10 instead. I'll start relishing 10 chocolates instead of 5 chocolates. You can go in that direction. There's nothing wrong in it.
But what if you're just content with?
No, that's what. Hold on. We'll come to that. So, Yayati said, I want to do that. Of course, there was a bodily limitation to it. At some point, Yama came and said, okay, you need to leave your body and go. So, Yayati gave a proposal to his children. He said, I want to enjoy it. So, please give your body. I will stay in that body. You give up and go with Yama. This was the proposal that Yayati gave. He had five sons. Of his 5 sons, 4 of them said, no, we are not doing all this, your stupidities, we are not doing. The 5th son agreed. Okay. So he gave his body and he stayed in that body. So it went on and on and on. And yeah, they kept on going through this cycle. So that contentment. Finally, at the end of that, about 1,000 odd years, he realized exactly what you are saying. Contentment. This is not going to be fulfilling. At no point is it going to be fulfilling. The more I give, the more chocolate it will want. The more I say, I want, the more it will say, no, probably tomorrow I can eat more. Tomorrow I look forward to doing this. So he says, it is like Trishna, Mahashna Mahapapma. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, but generally he says Mahatrishna, unquenchable desire,
First.
unquenchable thirst. The more I pour, and you will quench that desire thinking you are pouring water on fire. Only to realize that the mug that you're holding is not water, but that of clarified butter, or in today's world, petrol. Suppose you think you have water and you want to pour it on fire, but actually you have petrol. What will happen?
Burst into flame. No, I'm not saying that. What if you're content with just those 5 chocolates? You don't want more.
Yeah, that's the good part to reverse it, no? That's the good part. That's the good point where you start reversing and saying, maybe I should look for something more. So, okay, I get your question. Okay, your question is not typically okay. The path that this is okay. By the way, this is not the path.
Oh,
This is not the path.
this is what you can achieve. Can
Yeah, this is what this is what is usually understood. That's about it. It is not the path. The path is different. With contentment, that path opens up, where you don't need to go through all these things, and you can directly contemplate on this Brahman. Your contemplation on Brahman starts with this, with that contentment, and directly you start moving towards that Brahman. That is what all our Shrutis are leading to. Okay. Just to conclude this, this is the unit of happiness. That's what we said, no? Yuva, sadhu, yuva, adhyayakaha, sarva prithvi vittasya purna syat, asishto, dridishto, balishtaha. Then manushya, 10 to the power 2, 10 to the power 4, 10 to the power 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 10 to the power 20 is what is that? Brahmananda. Everywhere is Shrotriyasya cha akamaha tasya. That is very important. Okay. So that akama, what you're talking about is that bringing that concept of akama. That will push you in this direction towards this. Okay. So you reduce that. You say you have 5. So suppose you start reducing it. Bring it to 2, bring it to 1. Then you slowly move forward. That is the whole point of this discussion. Okay. Now, the question is, it's all right. Now I showed you a very tedious path, right? This, now say, first of all, getting to this Manushya itself is difficult. Then you say, go become that Manushya Gandharva, then Deva Gandharva, all these things. Now, okay, thank you so much. You've done a good job. Let us all go back. Let's all sleep. And then we can close the class for today. And then next week, we'll see whether to come back or not. We'll think about it.
That's exactly what I said. It's too high a thing to look at.
Yeah, it looks very daunting, right?
Yeah.
So, how many of you think this is a very daunting journey?
Could we say, Mahodaya, that the reason for you coming to this Bhaja Govindam class itself because of that contentment?
Yes. We'll come to that. Now, no. The discussion I'm studying is we'll come to step by step, Sushila Mahodaya. We'll get very, very step by step, incremental steps. So, how many think this is a very daunting step to take? Yeah, Vijaya Mahodaya wanted to say something.
A little bit difficult to understand.
Difficult to understand is a different story. That's a different thing. But do we all want to get to that Ananda state? Everyone wants, forget that. Forget that this is a huge path laid out, and that's why we'll talk about that path in a minute.
Still
but everyone
desired.
wants to get to that Ananda state. Anybody who differs?
Yeah, desired.
That is a bhava which we all have.
Mahodaya.
No, I don't know what it is, so I don't know if I want it.
Parvati Mahodaya, Nagarprabha is asking something.
Manushya Janma itself is not permanent. So how can we expect Ananda in this Manushya Janma?
That is the whole point. See, last week, that's where I explained that concept of time. While explaining the concept of time, none of those positions are permanent. Correct? Now, what we do understand is that that Ananda, that unfleeting, unwavering Ananda coming out of the unmanifested is permanent, which is beyond that Brahma, which is beyond that Chaturmukha Brahma. That's why I said Sa Ekaha, that is only one. There is not beyond that one. So let's take the let's go back to that pot and this lamp example. If there is only lamp, there is no pot around, there is nothing else around. It is only a lamp, no? Now that lamp is in a state of some level of bliss. There is nothing else to compete with. There is nothing else to be with. That is a state of contentment. As Parvati Mahodaya was saying, there is a level of contentment. But beyond contentment, there is a state of blissfulness. Can we call it blissfulness? Right. So that is that blissfulness we are all trying to seek in some sense or the other. Every time we say we want to be happy, we are referring to that in some way. Right. That is the quintessential nature of that, of whatever that is, of the Paramatman. Can we say that, Nagaprabhu Mahodaya? Okay. Parvati,
I didn't
I
understand.
think you have some internet, this one. You're saying something.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Parvati Mahodaya वदतु. ध्वनिमुद्रिका मुखम् अस्ति न श्रूयते.
I don't know what this bliss is. So how do I strive for something that I don't know?
Yeah, that's the whole point. Our whole journey is all about going after something we don't know. Shruti says something. So, get to that. There is, see, how do we know it exists? There is what is called, this is, what is that? Pramanas. 4 types of pramana. That is basically saying, what is this? There is what is called Anumana Pramana. So let us say there is Pratyaksha. What we see is what is truth. Pratyaksha. Then there is Anumana. I infer, I guess that this is true. Okay. Then there is what is called, what is that? Anumana, Pratyaksha, then what is the other Pramana? Arthapatti, or it is called the 4th one is Shruti. I am not getting that word. Why am I not getting that word? It is
Apnavati.
Huh?
Apnavati.
What is that, Mahodaya?
Anumana, Pratyaksha, Anumana, Apnavati something.
Arthapatti.
No, yeah, Arthapatti is one, but there is another word for it. What is that? Nisha Mahodaya, what is that other thing?
Pratyaksha Pramana, you say?
Pratyaksha, Anumana,
Arthapatti and Apamana. No.
Upamana. Upamana.
Upamana, correct. Upamana or Arthapatti. So Upamana is about saying, Upamana. You are Aropa, you are actually bringing the characteristics of something onto something else. So say, for instance, you want to go to, say, you want to go to to somebody's house, which is some 10, 20 meters away. You can't see the house. What do you say? You see the tall tree there, below that is that house. Correct?
Yes.
Similarly, this is Arthapatti or this Upamana. When you do Upama, we say that we all want to be happy. That is our quintessential nature. So there needs to be a source of infinite happiness somewhere.
That's being greedy.
Huh?
I would say it's being greedy to want that infinite happiness.
No, so that yeah. So for that you will qualify that happiness with what is also called Shruti Pramana. Shruti is the fourth form of Pramana. Okay. So happiness, now how you qualify that happiness is important. What we see is a permanent state of happiness. How do you get a permanent state of happiness? What we experience is all fleeting. Now, we should understand that there is a state of permanent happiness. Do we all agree?
Yes.
Two reasons for it. One, neither sadness nor happiness is permanent, the way we see it. Which means it's in a state of duality. Right? However, we do not seek sadness, we seek happiness. Why do we not seek happiness? Because there should be some quintessential feature in us that is driving towards that happiness. That should be a truth. This is where the Anumana should come in. We should infer that there is something that will indefinitely lead to that happiness. Then we qualify that, then that can be brought in with the Shruti. Shruti are the Vedas and the Vedanta, which says that, Chitta, Brahma Sat, Sat Chittanand, Pragyanam Brahma, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. So there's a way to contemplate on it. I am Atma Brahma, Tattvamasi, Pragyanam Brahma. It starts with Pragyanam Brahma. Then it says, I am Atma Brahma. Then it says, Tattvamasi. Then it says, Aham Brahmasmi. It does not start with Aham Brahmasmi. So that Aham Brahmasmi, aha, this is what is that happiness. That aha, this state is, that is this is inferable. This is very easily inferable. It's not something that you can't infer. If we were moving in a state of sadness and if there was a driving force towards sadness, you can say, oh, there's a quintessential force for sadness. I should be established that sadness. I have gone the opposite direction. But it clearly says there's a fleeting happiness. Now there should be something that is permanent there. So it is just like saying, there is something is radiating out of that Nana Chitra Ghata. So there should be a state of light there. So I start following that light. So since my quintessential nature is to follow happiness, now there should be a source of that happiness somewhere. First how do we start for that? I start by saying, the happiness is in the sweet. Then I say, no, the happiness is in my car. Then I say, no, the happiness is in my work. Then I say, no, happiness is in the football that I play. Then I say, no, happiness is in Virat Kohli playing or not playing, depending on which side of the game you are. Then it says, no, my happiness is there in Australia winning or Australia losing. Then you say, no, my happiness is in promotion. Then you say, my happiness is in this, that, etc., etc., etc. Then, as Parvati Mahodaya said, you get to a point where you say, maybe no, not in all these things. It's beyond this. When you start searching for that beyond this, then you start questioning. Where is that happiness lying? So, I don't think anybody will question that there is a permanent source of that happiness because there is something that's driving us to it. Right? You can't question that. When you get that, then you start moving in that direction. First you start searching. Once you start searching, we'll stray. Obviously, we're all going to stray. It is not like we know everything on day one and we have all gotten there. As with our multiple mirror example, now we know that so many of us are there. But then suddenly we realize we are going only hitting walls. And probably one mirror breaks somewhere in between. One more, two. Then you realize, aha, no, this is not what is permanent. There is something else. I should get out of this. Then you start searching for there's an exit. How do you start searching for exit? You don't have any, let's say you don't know how to break the wall or you don't know how to do things. That is the state we are all trying to get to. Is this getting clearer? Yes, Bhavani Mahodaya.
Yes.
Mahodaya, that pramana is anupalabdhi.
Huh?
Anupalabdhi pramana. Anupalabdhi.
Anupalabdhi. Anupalabdhi is what?
That pramana I'm telling, one of the
pramana. That is Anupalabdhi is the
not availability, non-availability.
No, it's not available. That is to be qualified differently. No, Mahodaya.
Non-perception.
Huh?
It's not non-perception.
Non-perception. No, we'll not get to that. That one we will just call it Upmana and keep it to that. That will lead to too much of already confusing state. Will lead to too much more confusing state.
Already confused enough.
Yeah. So Bhavani Mahodaya, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. I guess, I mean, in the initial stages, when we are not into Vedanta, we are always correlating pleasure with happiness. So pleasure is just at the lowest level and it always comes with pain. The more pleasure you seek from the outside world, the more pain you get later on. I mean, that's like a double-edged sword. So this Ananda thing is really different from that pleasure. So once we have an idea of that, then I think we can move forward.
Correct.
With the different steps to attain that. Yeah.
That's exactly what Parvati Mahodaya also said.
Yeah.
You go with all these things. Then you say, I'm contented now. That contentedness, you start realizing, also gives you a level of happiness.
Yeah.
Why are you contented? Because it's giving you a level of something inside is saying, it's driving me to that happiness, right?
Yeah, I mean, once you keep chasing pleasure, it never ends.
Correct.
So then that's not the right thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
You have chased it, you have gone, realized maybe I should chase in a different direction. Come on. And then start looking around.
Yes.
That's exactly what happens.
Mahodaya, all this abundance comes from that source itself.
It has to.
That is the assumption. Abundance.
It has to. It's not the assumption, it's an axiom.
And this small amount, quantity of happiness in Manushya. If we connect with that happiness itself, will it take us to the source?
It has to, no? That is the whole idea.
Of happiness, abundant.
Correct. That's exactly what our journey is all about.
But mind always looks for to hold on to the happiness.
That is
the point. As Bhavani Mahodaya said, if we look outside for the pleasure, it always transitional.
Correct.
No.
Correct.
Maybe because of the mind itself, we with experience, we'll understand that we can calm down our mind with experience.
So those are all techniques.
Without looking outward.
Those are all techniques. Yeah. Those are the techniques. I'm just doing the theory part right now.
And hold on to that happiness itself, which is inner happiness.
Correct. So hold on. We are currently discussing theory. We'll come to the practice part a little in the next class onwards. So we are all now clear that we should chase that something, or rather we should align ourselves something that will lead us to that permanence, correct? Okay. So coming out of this, now this whole Bhaja Govindam will make sense. Suppose if we look at it from the concept of a concept called bhakti. We'll talk about bhakti in the next class. We'll start with bhakti in the next class. Astu samaya samaptaha. Astu samaya atitaha. Astu. Shini Mahodaya has been silent. You want to say something? Shamla Mahodaya, Shini Mahodaya. Vaktumichataha va? No, they don't want to say anything. Astu. Okay. Om swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam ayena margena mahim mahishah go brahmanebhyo shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasipalni desho yakshobharitah brahmana sadnirbhayah aputra putrina santo pautrinah adanat sadanat santu jivantu shradam shatam सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु अरविन्दार्पणमस्तु।